Hello, and welcome to this evening's Happy Hour Historian Tour. I am Brenda with the Arizona State Office of AARP. We are the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence, we work to strengthen communities and we advocate what matters most to more than 100 million Americans 50 plus and their families. We focus on health security, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. We also produce the nation's largest circulation publications, which are the AARP Magazine and the AARP Bulletin. During the month of October, we will help you navigate Social Security and Medicare decisions that focus on enhancing your financial health. We can help you with resources, expert content, and tools for consumers to manage your Medicare and Social Security decisions. We also have resources to help you plan for retirement and ideas to help you increase your short and long-term savings. Please feel free to visit us at aarp.org/Arizona for more information. Thank you again, and with that, I'll turn it over to Marshall.
Welcome to the show. Get ready to meet your host for the night, Arizona's very own hip historian himself, Marshall Shore.
Well, hello and good evening. I want to welcome you all to Arizona History Happy Hour. I am so happy that you can join us. Oh, so excited for you to be here. Now, my name is Marshall Shore, and I want to welcome you to Arizona History Happy Hour. And we've got such a fun show for you this evening. Oh my gosh. You know, today is October 17th, and you know, there's a lot that's gone on. Why, not that long. So this date back in 29, a magnetic observatory opened up in Tucson, which I think is really cool. And so they test magnetic fields, which is, I think, really amazing. And they've been doing that there since 1929. I also want to say it is National Pasta Day. So no matter how you like your pasta, al dente, whether it's in a noodle, whether it's in a round form, maybe macaroni, it's all good. It is also Black Poetry Day. So there are so many amazing Black poets out there, from Langston Hughes, so many more, as well as it is Mulligan Day. So, you know, we've all made mistakes. And so today is a day where, you know, you can start over again, as well as it is Anti-Bullying Day. You know, it's never a good idea to bully. So just say, you know, what you have in mind and just move on. Oh my gosh, so much going on. So what can you expect from Happy Hour tonight? Well, you know, we've got our usual. We've got a little bit of trivia going on. We've got an amazing guest. We, of course, have a beverage. We've got a little bit of music history, some small town history, and we are just going to have such an amazing time here. So happy that you can join us. So I said my name is Marshall Shore. I also go by the Hip Historian. And, you know, oh my gosh, such a fun the next few months are going to be crazy. In January, we are going to be celebrating the 96th anniversary of the Orpheum Theater with Arizona Unzipped, an educational burlesque show. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so much fun. We just rounded out a round of tours that included a flight of tea at 7 Cups in Tucson, a Chinese tea house, as well as tours of the Arizona Heritage Center and the George Washington Carver Cultural Center and Museum in South Phoenix at the old segregated high school. And this weekend, you know, we have Phoenix Pride coming up over at Indian School Park. And then next week, I'm out in Apache Junction talking about LGBTQ history for Arizona. So that's going to be a blast. As well as coming up, we have on Sunday, I'm doing with Magnum Bikes. We are doing kind of a haunted history true crime tour on e-bikes of Scottsdale. That's been a lot of fun putting that together and kind of digging down. As well as next weekend, we have an afternoon tour of kind of haunted history of downtown Phoenix. So that way you can go and still make all your parties on the 26th. You can find out more information on all of those at hiphistorian.com. As well as I recently got to attend a hard hat tour of the $40 million Astronomy Discovery Center up at Lowell. They're having their basically opening it up on November 16th. So that's going to be a fun day. As well as tomorrow, I'm doing bingo at the State Fair. So excited. It's been a whole year since I've done bingo, and especially love doing it there at the State Fair. Now, you can also follow me on Facebook at Marshall Shore Hip Historian. Instagram is hip_historian. Email hello@hiphistorian, or my website, hiphistorian.com. Now, you know, it would not be happy hour without a beverage. And oh my gosh, tonight we have a really special shout out from PJ. We did a little road trip.
Welcome to Bonehouse Brewing in Fountain Hills, Arizona. My name is PJ Vader Barron, and we've got a very special beer for you today. This is made exclusively by Bonehouse for Melinda's Alley in downtown Phoenix. You can also purchase these cans to go at Dust Cutter in the Hotel Renaissance over in that area in downtown. Now, this is made in honor of Melinda Curtis, who the Melinda's Alley Speakeasy is named after, and she's actually buried in downtown Phoenix. Her grave doesn't have a headstone on it yet, but $2 from every can of the Red Light Melinda, or here at the brewery, they call it the Spirit of the Red Ghost, and you can get those cans to go at Melinda's Alley or Dust Cutter. You can get them right here at the Bonehouse Brewery, and like I said, proceeds from that go to getting a headstone for Melinda, finally marking that grave after 115 years. Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy spooky season, and enjoy the History Happy Hour.
Oh my gosh. And I'm happy to say that, yes, indeed, I was able to get a can for myself for tonight of that special brew from Bonehouse. Nice and tasty. Well, now we're going to talk about a small town, and I thought, you know, it was very appropriate since we did a field trip to Fountain Hills that we should indeed talk a little bit about some of the history of Fountain Hills. Now, population of just almost 24,000 people, established in 1970. You know, it is also one of these national, international dark sky cities, and we'll get more into that in just a little bit. Now, initially, Fountain Hills, that whole area was inhabited by Yavapai. You can actually find some petroglyphs over by one of the mines in the area, which talks about kind of that Arizona history, the Dixie Mine, established in 1877. Now, it wasn't very profitable, and so it eventually became part of the McDowell Mountain Preserve. And so they have basically gated any of the access to try and keep people out of there. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. As well as, I mean, so you can go on so many tours through McDowell Mountain Regional Park, which is really cool. It also there's a bit of ranch history. The Pemberton, which was later called the P-Bar Ranch, was headquartered right in Fountain Hills. And that's why you'll find a plaque on the high school that tells you about where that ranch house was. And that fountain, that basically the town itself was established by Robert McCullough. He was the chainsaw family or the motor family. And so he had the land and decided to develop it. And he brought in his friend C.V. Woods to help design. Now, C.V. Woods also had designed part of Disneyland. And so he was kind of cut out of Disneyland. And McCullough brought him in to do Fountain Hills. And so Fountain Hills incorporated back a new town back in 1989. And so, I was up there when they did the eclipse and they had the groundbreaking ceremony they are going to be doing an international dark sky discovery center up there that they're now fundraising for and getting ready to make happen. So excited to see that come together. Well, now, you get to hear from someone else other than just me. So I'm going to bring on my friend LeRoy. Hello.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. So LeRoy, where are you joining us from?
Well, currently I am in Tucson. I am outside of a casino. I had some work to do today, so I was able to get on my phone and be able to join you this evening.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you so much. For folks that don't know who you are, LeRoy, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's LeRoy Shingoitewa. I originally up from the Hopi Reservation, currently living in Flagstaff. I work for Westland, which is a cultural resource, environmental, and engineering consulting firm. So I do a lot of work working with tribes and working with any kind of large-scale construction, I guess you could say.
Very cool. And we're going to do some trivia. And as LeRoy lets us know a little bit about him and some of his background and a really cool event that he's prepping for not as we speak, but very soon. All right. Now you may have to help me with some of the pronunciations of some of these, LeRoy, because.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right. Very good. So what year was Aravi established? Was it A, 900 AD, B, 1100 AD, C, 1300 AD, or D, 1400 AD? All right. Well, you are trying to figure out which one of those years it was established. We are going on to question 2. What year was the Pueblo Revolt? Was that A, 1580, B, 1680, C, 1780, or D, 1880? All right. So question 3. What Hopi village is located near Tuba City, Arizona? And I will let you handle this part, LeRoy, because I have no clue.
Okay, A, Kikotsmovi, B, Musangnevi, C, Munkapi, and D, Palaka.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Question 4. What is the mascot of the Tuba City High School? Is it A, the Bruins, B, the Eagles, C, Mustangs, or D, Warriors? All right. Here we are, that halfway point at question number 5. The University of Arizona won the basketball national championship the same year as what? A, the radio station KSED began broadcasting out of Flagstaff. B, Burton Bar Central Library opens in Phoenix. C, the Phoenix lights are reported to be seen by many folks. Or is it D, Tippytown Lake is completed? All right, so what year do you think both of those events happened? All right. Question 6. What casino is owned by the
Pacoyaki tribe?
Okay. Is it A, Casino Arizona, B, Desert Diamond Casino, C, Casino del Sol, or D, Twin Arrows? All right. Question 7. How many federally recognized tribes are located here in Arizona? Is it A, 15, B, 22, C, 25, or D, 30? All right. Question 8. True or false? So here you go. A 50-50 shot. Traditional ecological knowledge is defined as a cumulative knowledge, body of knowledge. A cumulative body of knowledge, practice, and belief evolving by adaptive processes and handed down through generations by cultural transmission about the relationship of living things, including humans, with one another and their environment. So that is indeed a true or false question. So is that how you would define traditional ecological knowledge? Question 9. What is the role of a tribal monitor? A, works with archaeologists to give tribal perspectives. B, works with biologists to use TEK. C, works with tribal and data collection for informed decision making. Or D, all of the above. All right. And our last question, how long is a marathon race? Is it A, 13.1 miles, B, 15 miles, C, 18 miles, or D, 26.2 miles? All right. Well, you are all locking in your final answers. We are going to go on and take a little bit of an Arizona music break. And I was recently up in Kingman for the Route 66 Festival. And it was really cool because they had an indigenous marketplace by the Hualapai, which are indigenous to that area. And it was really cool. They had a main stage with lots of music acts coming on, including the Hualapai bird dancers. Now, they were saying that their dances celebrate the land around them, as well as the smallest rock and the largest tree. And I love that they were traditional costumes, and they talked about how their costumes represent different aspects of nature. So like the beaded cape that she's wearing represents a bird's chest, and the shawl represents their wings. The ribbon sewed around their skirt represents different elements such as water or mountains. So it was great to see them on stage dancing to vocals as well as drum. And so that was a highlight of the Route 66 Festival. All right. So now who's ready for some answers? Oh my gosh. So, all right. So, LeRoy, what year was Arabi established?
Okay, Oraibi was established in 1100 AD. So it makes it the oldest continuously inhabited village in North America. So the Hopi have been within their region of where we live for going on 1,000 years currently. So just kind of some history of where I'm from and the tribe I'm part of.
So isn't that the oldest inhabited location in the country?
I think it's North America. So anything Americas and above, but it's continuously inhabited. That's the thing.
Right. All right. Question 2. What year was the Pueblo Revolt?
And that was in 1680. That was their the first actual revolt against the Spaniards, and it was done throughout New Mexico and in northern Arizona. We had the Spaniards come into our lands and I guess try to enforce the Catholic religion on us. And Hopis have been pretty lucky in that we participated in this, and we were never reconquered by the Spanish. So that kind of is something we are proud of who we are.
And thank you so much for asking this question, because I had heard a little bit about it, but it made me do a deeper dive in just, well, what was it? And so it was really fascinating to read about.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because it was a plan thought up from the New Mexico Pueblos, and they let Hopi know that we were going to participate in, and all on the same day. They sent a runner out who had a knot with a rope with knots on it, and by the last time he undid the knot of that day, that was the day we were going to revolt. So it was a planned attack, to kind of keep our livelihood and our survival. So uh, we look at it at times as bad, because unfortunately we had to kill people in order for us to survive. But we also look at it as our strength of who we are as people, and that because of this, we still exist today.
And different tribes coming together to do this, I thought was really cool as well.
Yeah, no, totally.
All right. What Hopi village is located near Tuba City?
Yeah, Munkapi, that is the village where I'm from. Currently, that's where my family lives. So it's near Tuba City, right on the border of the Navajo Hopi Reservation. It was established around, I believe, 1870. Is what I've heard that that village was established. So there's a big time frame between the two. But we were a farming establishment originally, and then as encroachment from other tribes came in, they sent a group of people to reestablish that area, and that's how our village came to be.
Oh, okay. All right. Question 4. What is the mascot of the Tuba City High School?
Yeah, Tuba City High School are the Warriors. So this is where I went to school. I grew up in that area. Like I said, we're right on the border, so a lot of us who from our village went to Tuba City, and um, that's where I graduated a while ago, I guess you could say, in 1996.
So, did you participate in any extracurricular activities?
Not really. I wasn't too much of a extracurricular activities kind of guy, but I did play in the band though. I did play saxophone, so that was kind of exciting, I guess you could say.
All right. Question 5. The University of Arizona won the basketball national championship the same year as the Phoenix Lights were reported to be seen, which was 1997.
Yeah, I was after high school, I attended the University of Arizona, and I was a freshman the year they won a national championship. So that year and that date was kind of a good time for all the Wildcats down in Tucson. So it was a good night for what I can remember of it.
I like for what I can remember of it, especially your freshman year, probably not much.
Oh yeah, no, but it was great. It was one of those, community events that you can tell just the Tucson was elated for the victory.
Indeed. What casino is owned by the Pascagoula Yaqui tribe?
Yeah, Pasquayaki owns Casino del Sol, and that's actually where I'm outside sitting right now. I had a chance I had some work down here this week, and I work with tribes. So one of actually my tribe, Hopi Tribe, was meeting with us this week, and they got hungry, so we got to get a chance to come out to the buffet here and grab some food. But Casino del Sol, so while in college, I started working in gaming actually, and this is one of the properties that I helped open. I was a training coordinator at the time, working for them, and I also helped run their blackjack dealer school. So from this, I kind of got entrenched and lost interest in college. Never finished my degree at that time, and I started working casinos. So 14 years I worked, and my last job I did work was a blackjack dealer, and I worked in Las Vegas at the Wynn. So I've kind of had a prior life, if you can say that.
So blackjack school?
Yeah, yeah. When in 2001 they passed a law where allowing Arizona casinos to have blackjack and table games. So I learned how to deal blackjack, and in turn I taught it. So I was able to train a bunch of non-dealers to become dealers, I guess you could say.
Well, that's because it's like every time I'm at a casino, I see all the dealers. I always wonder, how did they learn? I didn't realize
Yeah.
there was a blackjack school.
Oh yeah, and in Las Vegas, there's schools. I have a friend who runs a good school there too, and so if it's a career you think you like, there's schools for that for sure.
And look at what it's led you to. I mean, got you out of college and into a whole other field.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, no, and it wasn't until after I had moved home. I had a grandmother who got sick, and I went out to help my mom take care of her. And when she passed away, I told my mom, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to college." So I actually returned back down to Tucson in 2012. Went back to college as a older student and finished my degree in biology, biomedical, 2016. So I had a career change, I guess, in the middle of my career.
So with your home, so how many people are in your hometown?
Um, I know I should know that number. I don't know.
I mean,
It's a
is it
small
is it a
town.
lot of people? Is it a few people? I
It's a,
mean,
thousands for sure, but it's
okay,
not, it's not the size of Flagstaff. It's not
okay,
we're a smaller town, and in the village itself where I'm from, we're probably around maybe 5,000 at the most.
okay. And then how many federally recognized tribes are located in Arizona?
22. So the career I'm in currently, I work with a consulting firm. In 2018, I was asked to go on a training where we were working with Resolution Copper, which is a copper mine down here in Globe area in Superior. And during that time, through consultation with the tribes, they asked if they could start a tribal monitor program. And I had been asked to go to the training, so I showed up. And that kind of got me on this career path that I'm in right now, where I'm working, actually supervising the program itself right now.
Oh, very cool.
So this is just, yeah, that's just here. I'll read this out loud for you. It says traditional ecological knowledge is defined as a cumulative body of knowledge, practice, and belief evolved by adaptive processes and handed down through generations by cultural transmission about the relationship of living things, including humans, with one another and their environment. As you see, this is true. This is kind of our basis for what we do as tribal monitors. Is in history, when you worked with archaeologists or biologists, they're usually non-native, and a lot of the times when we had any kind of survey work, these cultural resource firms are hired, and they have non-native archaeologists, and they you know record sites, record data for the tribes, and give them a report and say, all right, you got 30 days, tell us what's important. And a lot of the tribes are saying this isn't good enough. So in this program, we're able to get tribal members actually out on survey doing not only archaeology but biology, water monitoring, and they're able to use this traditional ecological knowledge. So it's just knowledge that's handed down through generations, just brought up with learning from your parents, grandparents. Every culture has this. Everybody has a recipe that their grandmother made for the best lasagna. There's, each culture has had this kind of work, but I think having this input put into reports specifically for the tribes, it makes a big difference because it does give a tribal perspective on a non-tribal report, I guess I could say.
Well, and that's actually where we first met, which was at a conference where you were basically on a part of a panel talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. And so it was such a fascinating concept of taking that traditional knowledge of just an understanding of how plants, the earth worked, and
Yeah,
that sometimes they were finding in science, they would find the science proof of that.
yeah. I always hear my grandmother telling me, the non-natives are finally figuring out what we're talking about. We've had this knowledge for a long time, so it's like they're catching up to us finally. And so being able to use this, because I hear a lot of times, well, you have a degree in biology, you're very different because you are, native and you have this degree. And I said, my grandmother knew plant names. She knew uses when they grew. She knew all this stuff. The only thing she did not know was the scientific name. So I believe, our elders, our people of this knowledge, were the PhDs for our cultures. And so I think it's really important that we continue to pass this knowledge down and teach our children, a lot about this so we can still continue to thrive.
Right. And it's, my own grandmother being from the South, it was kind of like she had an understanding of plants. And so if you were sick, she would put together some herbs and some things and boil it down. And then you would drink that. And miraculously, you felt better. I had no idea what was in there, but other than love, but it was this
And
tried food medicine.
yeah, and don't you wish you learned that? Don't you
Oh, I
wish you had them still here where you can ask that question? And this is the thing where we're working with, different tribes and doing this. I'm always telling my um, tribal monitors who work for me, saying, look, you need to go home and ask these questions. You need to go make sure you remember this, you understand this. And it's a learning experience for them also, which, I feel the same way. When I was working with it, is I learned a lot because I had to go home to ask questions. There was a lot of things, I'm 46 years old right now, but in my society, I'm still a child. I'm still a kid yet. Yes, I may be of that adult age, but we do have elders who have a lot more knowledge. So I'm always learning, and I think that's great. I think that's the best way to live life.
Mhm. And that being curious. And so, yeah, I really wish I'd go back and ask my grandmother what was in that.
Yeah, no, that's great.
So, yeah, so I think it's great that you're helping bring that to a larger audience.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think, like I said, it's paying a service to the tribes, because for so long we have been left out of a lot of these surveys, a lot of this industry where our voice was never heard. And so if I can give a chance to um, have our voice heard, I think that's a big deal to me.
All right. And then what is the role of a tribal monitor? Hey?
Again, yep, again, all the above. Let's go ahead and just go through, working with archaeologists to give tribal perspectives, works with biologists to use TEK, that traditional ecological knowledge, and works with tribes in data collection for informed decision making. So the most information we can get to the tribes, they're able to make an informed decision for their tribe, for our cultural resource, for our plant resource. And I think that's really important. That's something we've overlooked. And I know with Deb Hallen, with some of her new things coming down the line, we're able to get ahead of it and start doing a lot of this already, which I think has been great, because our program's been going on 7 years now. And I think the tribes themselves really appreciate what we do. And the companies that we do work for, they're grateful too, because we are including the tribes within their decision making. So that's great.
So how do you go about collecting the knowledge?
So we're able to, there's an archaeological report, of course. So that's a science-based report that's, has rigorous um, reporting methods. But being able to then have an addendum to that, saying, look, we've talked with Hopis. This is what they believe is really important here. This is what they've said about these resources. Here's some more information about it. It's great because it solidifies that information to say that it is important for what they have. And if we find something important, having more than one perspective from all the different tribes, it gives it a solid base of evidence for protection, I think.
So are you surprised by some of the things that you hear, and or do you hear things and you're like going, wow, I didn't know that? Are you still learning things?
Oh yeah, I'm learning all the time. There's so many things, nuances, especially since my degree is not an anthropology cultural resource. I'm learning a lot of things from that end of it, but then also I'm teaching a lot of things too, to the archaeologists, to the biologists, and our tribal monitors are doing that consistently. It's a back and forth. We're learning how non-native archaeology works, and then they're learning what our traditional ecological knowledge is. So I think it's a good fit for each other, and it kind of gives a balance to that type of world.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think, I still look back at that panel that you were a part of, that I still am just amazed by some of the things they were talking about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And it's like, it took us so long to figure out that, well, we should listen to folks and the stories they're telling. All right. And so that brings us to, how long is a marathon race?
So it's 26.2 miles. In December, I'm going to be running the Honolulu Marathon. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be my 4th marathon. Trying to get out there and get running. It's just been so hot lately. I'm happy these lower temperatures are going to be coming. Even up in Flagstaff, it's going to be great. And I'm also, while I'm doing this too, I joined a team where I'm actually raising money for cancer research. I have a father who has been diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and I know, this is something that's happening to our people, especially with the way things are going. We're seeing a lot uprise in cancer. And so I think any time I can help with that, I've been lucky. My dad has had great care up with the Indian House Service. And so, that's kind of my payback is I've joined the team. So I'm trying to raise some money for that. So that's kind of my goal, is to at least get some money raised for before December.
Well, LeRoy, send me that link and I will share it.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Anybody who wants to donate, you got $10, got $5 hanging in your pocket, it's going to go to a good a cause that it'll have all the information. And I do have a webpage that's fundraising for it, but it all goes, everything that I raise goes to that. And it's they're one of the sponsors that's helping with the marathon, and we joined a team. So I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Very cool. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's Hawaii. I've never been, so I'm actually really looking forward to it. It's my first time.
Now, are you taking some time off after the race before you come home?
I'm gonna do 5 days in Honolulu, and then I'm doing 3 nights in Kauai. So I get to island hop and go to another one. So I'm looking forward to drinking a lot of coffee and watching a lot of waves. That's pretty much my my plan for Hawaii after the race, especially after 26.2 miles.
I can only imagine. I can't even fathom that. So any projects coming up that you're working on? I mean, you've got the marathon, anything else?
Yeah, no, I'm just constantly working with tribes. I have a lot of clients that are either mines, solar farms, wind farms. So anything, dealing with this new, uh, environmental, we're looking at climate change. So a lot of work is being done to change for that. And so a lot of the clients that we do work for, they're requiring a lot of input from tribes now, which is a first. A lot of times we are actually getting a voice out there. So I try to advocate and work with people, and hopefully, make sure that the tribes are at the table and able to voice their opinions. So, as this new electric vehicle craze goes on, unfortunately, the result of that is mining starts. We hear critical minerals. We're going to see a ramp up in copper and manganese, lithium. You hear all the stories of what's going on in the world right now. And so, as we look, it's not going anywhere. So therefore, if we're going to do any of this, we need to make sure we are including the tribes in it. So that's kind of what I do, and voice for them.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure. So, do you work with all the tribes, or are you just Hopi, or?
No. I work with the original training itself had 11 tribes that were invited, and I believe 7 of our tribal people still are employed with us. But it includes a lot of tribes. It's not just in one area. I'm working in Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah. So all over. It's so when we do work with them, we're making sure we're trying to include the local tribes who have affiliation for the area.
Nice. I think that's great, and that I'm glad to see that happening.
Yeah, no, and I think what it is also is you're getting the push from the tribes themselves. They're the ones who are demanding this, and I think it's about time they do. So that's the part where all I get to do is just voice my opinion when I'm working with clients, saying, look, you do need to do this. This is a great idea. And we are getting feedback from the tribe. So it's really them, I think, making this push, and I just so happen to be along for the ride.
And it sounds like you're having a lot of fun and learning a lot as well.
Yeah, I'm trying, like I said, I'm still um, constantly learning. I'm making lots of mistakes along the way, of course, as we all do, and hoping I learn from them and continue what I do. And I hope my program, can go another 10 years for sure.
I think there are enough stories and enough projects out there that indeed.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
All right. Well, LeRoy, thank you so much. I always like to ask for folks who are doing the trivia, how did you do? But it doesn't matter how well you did on the trivia, because just look at the stories. I mean, tech. Oh my gosh, what an amazing concept coming into fruition and sharing just that knowledge of some of these movies.
For sure. And I'm sure everybody did well.
We don't ask how well people can say I got them all right and no one's going to double guess them. So it's all good. It's all about, we're all winners because now we know a little bit more about Arizona.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, LeRoy, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to get you that website. So if you can post that, I'd really appreciate it. And like I said, if anybody has an extra $2-3 rolling around in their pockets, this company or my charity that I'm raising would really appreciate it.
Very good. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh my gosh, LeRoy, thank you so much. That was really cool. I always love about hearing about all you're working on. Now we get ready for From the Vault, which is something that you might drive by every day or have seen or just wondered, what is it? And I was recently up in Kingman, and there was a chalk artist that was working at the Kingman Route 66 Fest. And she said, when I went to Oatman the other day, I noticed this chalk fish on the highway. And then there was a man going up a set of steps. She's like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know. So first I had to go find out about the fish. And that is her photo that she colored in of the fish along Route 66. And so indeed, as you're walking through, suddenly you'll see a little pull off and there's a set of steps. Now, this road basically was built by the WPA, which was the worst progress administration, and it was a way during the Depression to get folks back to work. So it was really during the 30s. And so this Gold Road section from Gold Road Mine to Kingman, and along that way, water for animals, cars, or humans was very hard to find. And so there was a gentleman named Schaefer who discovered that there was basically water seeping out of the cliff. And so he basically built a little basin around it to collect that water. And so he did this in the 30s. Inset, there is a little plaque said the Schaefer Fishbowl Spring. And you can kind of see the spring there and the beautiful view that you get when you go visit it. And there are some goldfish that have been plopped in there. There are also some plants that are around it to kind of help keep it as fresh as possible. And even in the middle, when it dries up and somehow, some way, it gets re-inhabited by somebody, as well as the fish gets redrawn in various places, but there's always a little turnoff right there on one of those hairpin curves as you're going to Oatman. So it's well worth a stop just to swing by and go up and see this gorgeous view. And there you can actually see the fish in it. And those plants that keep the algae down. And I love the fact that it just keeps repopulating almost as if it just happens. We know that somebody's doing it, and I love the mystery of we don't really know who. And there is that gorgeous landscape that you get to see. So now you'll see why, if you're watching on Facebook, I always say you should click on that share button, because look at how much fun we had with LeRoy learning about various parts of Arizona. And, please reach out to me. I love to hear, if you enjoyed this episode, let me know. I love hearing about how people did, what they watched, what they thought was intriguing, if they have their own ideas. And next episode, which will be November, have a couple guests that we'll see who makes it. And so I want to give a shout out to LeRoy for an amazing job, as well as Chris and Cole and PJ for always being a great show. Now, one of the things I want to do is, when I was up in Kingman, Bintanya, which was a Japanese group, they were going through doing a documentary in preparation of 2026, which is the 100th anniversary of Route 66. And they were a Japanese trio. And we started talking about Japanese history here in Arizona. And when we were chatting, they were like, well, is there any history here? And I was like, oh my gosh, there is a lot of Japanese history here. We talked about the internment camps and things like that. And then I got them in touch with Kathy Nakagawa, whose father closed the last baseline Japanese flower garden, and she still keeps his flower shop open. So I am going to show you a little video, sadly not the Bintanya group, but it is something we did about a year ago, I think, down at Baseline Flowers. So here you go.
Hey, Local Buzz, Marshall Shore, the hip historian here, and we are here at Baseline Flowers, and we have Kathy Nakagawa. And so the reason why we're here is because the history, you'll see the sign behind me that says flowers. This is the last trace of what, for almost 50 years, was an iconic scene in Phoenix. Being able to drive along Baseline and see these flower fields, growing flowers that people were buying. They were shipped all over the world. And it really evolved out of, you had farmers that sadly were then sent to Japanese internment camps. They came back and reestablished their farms, their families, and started a whole new life, again, creating what was a point of pride for Phoenix. And so you can come here, take a look at some flowers, buy some flowers, look at this great little gift shop. We're down here on Baseline and 38th Street, so come on down and visit. So this is why you should like, follow, share, because here on Local Buzz, we're going to be bringing you more history and lots of Arizona love.